People in England and Northern Ireland who have had both COVID jabs will no longer be required to self-isolate for 10 days if they've come into contact with someone who has tested positive for the virus. So what does this mean for HR? The relaxed rules are set to significantly reduce the number of staff being compelled to stay at home, and the decision comes after many businesses complained that the number of workers having to self-isolate after being pinged by the COVID app was significantly disrupting their business. Despite the rules around self-isolation being further relaxed, managing workers who have been contacted by the NHS app will still present obstacles for HR. For starters, the end of the self-isolation requirement only applies to people who have had both COVID vaccines, meaning there will still be staff shortages among people who have had either one or no jabs. The new rules also only apply to anyone who has been in contact with someone who has tested positive for the virus. Anyone who tests positive themselves will still be required by law to self-isolate. So with these rule changes now in effect, how can HR help staff who have been pinged by the NHS app? For peace of mind, a combination of office and home working could allow anyone who has been in contact with a positive COVID case to keep working from home until they've had the opportunity to get a negative test themselves. This model of hybrid working has been embraced by many firms across the world, including several in the UK. Earlier this year, Asda announced that it would allow all 4,000 of its head office workers to continue working from wherever they wanted, even after the lifting of coronavirus restrictions. Recently, multinational food service company Compass Group shared details of a traffic light system that it had rolled out in its offices. The system used red, amber and green coloured lanyards to allow staff to signal what level of contact with other employees they wanted. For example, wearing a red lanyard would signal that employees wanted to keep their distance from other colleagues while still allowing them to go about their workday. Perhaps the most controversial tactic that HR could employ is vaccine mandates, meaning staff will not be allowed to return to offices until they have had both COVID vaccinations. Huge firms like Facebook, Netflix and Google have recently enforced their own vaccine mandates, and CNN even went as far as sacking 3 employees who returned to the office without having both vaccines. Ross Seychelles, the Chief People Officer at Personio, recently said that workplaces shouldn't enforce vaccine mandates, but instead should look to educate staff about the benefits of vaccines and encourage them to get one. These are just a handful of the many options that HR can explore to help minimise the disruption caused by self-isolation. But what do you think is the best policy for HR to follow?